The 1917 United States 1 dime, officially part of the Mercury dime series, is one of the most iconic silver coins in American history. It was minted during a period of optimism and change in the early 20th century, a time when the U.S. Mint sought to modernize coinage designs to better reflect the nation's artistic and cultural values. Designed by Adolph A. Weinman, the coin features the famous image of Liberty wearing a winged cap on the obverse front, symbolizing freedom of thought. This portrait is often mistaken for the Roman god Mercury, which is how the coin earned its popular nickname, the Mercury dime. Across the top is the word Liberty, and below the chin appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," expressing America's foundational faith-based ideals. The date 1917 appears at the lower right, marking its year of minting. The reverse back of the coin carries a fasces, a bundle of rods with an axe blade, symbolizing unity and strength, intertwined with an olive branch, representing peace, together emphasizing the balance between war and peace that define the World War I era. Above the design appears United States of America, and below it the denomination 1 dime. The Latin phrase e pluribus unum, out of many one, is inscribed to highlight the unity of the states forming the nation. The 1917 dime was struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, with a total weight of 2.5 grams and a diameter of 17.9 millimeters. It was produced at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. The Philadelphia issue is the most common, while the San Francisco and Denver issues are more sought after by collectors. Because it contains real silver, even a worn 1917 dime holds intrinsic value based on its metal content, but collectible value depends on condition, graded on the Sheldon scale, and mint mark. A coin in average circulated condition might be worth only a few dollars above melt value, while an uncirculated or well-preserved proof specimen could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The design's artistic beauty and its historical context, produced just months before America entered World War I, add to its enduring fascination among numismatists. The Mercury dime series ran from 1916 to 1945, after which it was replaced by the Roosevelt dime following President Franklin D. Roosevelt's death. The 1917 edition thus stands as an early example of Weinman's mastery, connecting art, symbolism, and national identity. The coin's mottos, Liberty, In God We Trust, and E pluribus unum, represent the moral and political ideals of the United States: freedom, faith, and unity. Today, the 1917 1 dime remains a small yet powerful piece of American heritage, a tangible link to a bygone era when silver coinage circulated freely and artistic expression flourished even in everyday currency. Next top. The 1918 United States of America 1 dime, often referred to as the 1918 Mercury dime, is a fascinating coin both historically and artistically. Struck by the U.S. Mint during the World War I era, this dime features one of the most admired designs in American coinage history. Officially called the Winged Liberty Head dime, it was designed by Adolph A. Weinman, the same artist who created the iconic walking Liberty half-dollar. The obverse front of the coin displays a youthful depiction of Lady Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought. Because of the resemblance of Liberty to the Roman god Mercury, the coin soon became popularly known as the Mercury dime. Above her head appears the motto Liberty, with the phrase "In God We Trust" and the date 1918 below the neck. On the reverse back of the coin, Weinman depicted a fasces, a bundle of rods tied around an axe, which was an ancient Roman symbol of unity and strength, representing the idea that a nation is stronger when its citizens work together. Wrapped around the fasces is an olive branch, signifying peace, creating a powerful combination of preparedness for war and desire for peace, a fitting message during the time of World War I. The inscriptions United States of America and E pluribus unum, out of many one, encircle the design, with the denomination 1 dime placed at the bottom. The 1918 dime was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. There is no W mint mark for this coin, Sometimes collectors or casual observers mistake a worn feature or die mark for a letter, but the W you may see near the neck is actually Weinmann's artist monogram, not a mint mark. This small detail helps identify the sculptor behind the coin's creation. In terms of composition, the 1918 dime was made of 90% silver and 10% copper, with a total weight of 2.5 grams and a diameter of 17.9 millimeters. Its reeded edge helped prevent clipping or shaving of silver, a common problem in earlier centuries. Because of its silver content, every Mercury dime has intrinsic bullion value, but collector value depends heavily on condition, mint mark, and rarity. High-grade specimens, especially those with full details in the winged cap, known as full bands, can command significant premiums in the numismatic market. The Mercury dime series ran from 1916 to 1945, after which it was replaced by the Roosevelt dime in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death. Despite its relatively small size, the 1918 dime reflects a rich blend of art, symbolism, and American ideals. The phrases, "In God We Trust" and "E Pluribus Unum" continue to remind collectors of the nation's enduring values: faith, unity, and liberty. Today, over a century later, the 1918 Mercury dime remains a treasured piece of American history, admired for its beauty, historical context, and the craftsmanship that captures the spirit of a nation emerging into the modern. The next top. The 1919 United States $1 dime, commonly known as the 1919 Mercury dime, is one of the most admired and collectible coins in American numismatics. Although it is officially called the Winged Liberty Head dime, it is often referred to as the Mercury dime because the image of liberty on the obverse front is frequently mistaken for Mercury, the Roman messenger god. The coin was designed by the famous sculptor Adolf A. Weinmann, who also designed the Walking Liberty half-dollar. The 1919 dime was minted during a significant period in American history, just after World War I, and it reflects both the artistic excellence and patriotic spirit of the early 20th century. The obverse, front side, of the coin features a left-facing bust of Lady Liberty, wearing a Phrygian cap, a classical symbol of freedom and liberty, adorned with wings, representing freedom of thought. Around the rim of the coin are the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the year 1919 at the bottom. The detail and beauty of this design make it one of the most elegant coins ever produced by the United States Mint. The small letter W sometimes seen on the coin is not a mint mark, but the designer's initial for Weinmann. Actual mint marks, when present, appear on the reverse back, a small D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or none for Philadelphia. The reverse design is equally symbolic and powerful. It features a fasces, a bundle of rods tied together around an axe, an ancient Roman symbol of strength and unity, combined with an olive branch, symbolizing peace. This imagery reflects America's post-war sentiment, a desire for peace but readiness to defend liberty. Surrounding the central image are the inscriptions "United States of America," "E Pluribus Unum," Latin for "out of many, one," and the coin's denomination $1 dime. The message captures the unity and resilience of the nation, especially in the aftermath of World War I and the beginning of the Roaring '20s. In terms of composition, the 1919 Mercury dime is made of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighing approximately 2.5 grams and measuring 17.9 millimeters in diameter. Because of its high silver content, each dime holds intrinsic metal value as well as numismatic value for collectors. The U.S. Mint produced the 1919 dime at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. Mintage numbers were approximately 35.7 million from Philadelphia, 9.9 million from Denver, and 8.8 million from San Francisco. While the Philadelphia issues are the most common, coins from the San Francisco and Denver mints can command higher prices, especially in well-preserved condition. Condition is a major factor in determining a coin's value. Most 1919 dimes circulated heavily, meaning many surviving examples show wear. In circulated condition, their value mainly depends on silver content and grade, often ranging from a few dollars to $20. However, uncirculated or mint-state coins, particularly those with strong strikes and full details in Liberty's winged cap, known as full bands (FB) on the fasces, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors. Rare errors or varieties, such as double dies or off-center strikes, can also increase a coin's desirability and market value. Historically, the 1919 dime represents a fascinating era in American life. It was minted in a time of recovery and transformation, the year after World War I ended, and 1 year before the start of the 1920s economic boom. Coins like this circulated widely in an America that was shifting from a wartime economy to a modern industrial society. Each dime would have passed through countless hands, from shopkeepers to farmers, soldiers returning home, and families rebuilding after war. Holding such a coin today is like touching a small piece of living history. The Mercury dime design was struck from 1916 to 1945, after which it was replaced by the Roosevelt dime in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had died the previous year. Despite being replaced, the Mercury dime remains one of the most beautiful and symbolic U.S. coins ever produced. It continues to be a favorite among collectors for its artistry, historical depth, and silver content. In summary, the 1919 United States one dime, winged Liberty head or Mercury dime, embodies America's ideals of liberty, unity, and peace. Bearing inscriptions like "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and "E Pluribus Unum," it stands not just as currency, but as a small silver symbol of American resilience and freedom, a timeless piece of art struck in metal over a century. The next top. The 1923 United States one dime, commonly known as the Mercury dime, is a 10-cent coin that was minted by the U.S. Mint from 1916 through 1945. Although it is officially called the Winged Liberty Head dime, most people call it the Mercury dime because the design features Liberty, wearing a winged cap that resembles the Roman god Mercury. The coin's obverse, or front side, was designed by Adolf A. Weinman, one of the most respected sculptors of the early 20th century, who also designed the famous Walking Liberty half-dollar. On the obverse of the coin, you will see the profile of Lady Liberty facing left, wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought. Around her head is the word Liberty, and below her chin are the words, "In God We Trust." The date 1923 appears near the bottom rim. The small letter W you may notice is not a mint mark for West Point, which did not mint dimes at that time, but rather the designer's initials, Adolf A. Weinman. On the reverse side of the 1923 dime, there is a fasces, an ancient Roman symbol consisting of a bundle of rods tied around an axe, representing unity and strength. Behind the fasces is an olive branch, symbolizing peace, illustrating the balance between America's military readiness and its desire for peace. Encircling the reverse are the words United States of America and one dime. The national motto, E Pluribus Unum, meaning out of many one, appears to the right of the design, reinforcing the idea of unity among the states. The craftsmanship of the Mercury dime's design reflects the artistic and patriotic spirit of America during the early 20th century, a period when U.S. coinage was being transformed from simple utilitarian money into miniature works of art. The 1923 Mercury dime was struck only at the Philadelphia Mint, meaning it carries no mint mark, since Philadelphia coins of that era were unmarked. A total of about 50,130,000 dimes were minted that year, making it a relatively common date in the series, though its condition and strike quality determine its collector value. Most coins entered circulation and show varying degrees of wear, but high-grade specimens, especially those with full split bands, clear separation on the horizontal bands of the fasces on the reverse, are highly prized by numismatists. These full-band examples indicate a sharp, high-quality strike and can be worth significantly more than average circulated coins. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1923 dime is composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it a silver content of about 0.07234 troy ounces. It has a diameter of 17.9 millimeters and weighs 2.5 grams. The reeded edge was designed to deter clipping or shaving of precious metal, a problem that affected earlier U.S. coinage. Because of its silver content, even heavily worn Mercury dimes retain intrinsic value based on silver prices, but collectors often value them far higher for their historical and artistic significance. From a historical perspective, the Mercury dime reflects the optimism and modernization of post-World War I America. The year 1923 marked a time of economic growth known as the Roaring Twenties, characterized by rapid industrial expansion, cultural development, and innovation. The coin's design, Liberty with Wings, symbolized progress, freedom of thought, and the country's belief in human creativity. The inclusion of mottos like "In God We Trust" and "E Pluribus Unum" connected the coin to America's founding ideals and its national unity after the turmoil of World War I. Today, the 1923 Mercury dime remains a beloved piece among collectors for its beauty, symbolism, and silver content. It is also an accessible entry point for new collectors, as examples in circulated condition are affordable, while uncirculated or mint-state coins provide an appealing challenge for advanced numismatists. Whether appreciated for its artistry, historical resonance, or intrinsic value, the 1923 dime stands as a shining example of how U.S. coinage blends aesthetics, symbolism, and national identity into one small but powerful artifact of American heritage.